This is The Ramsey Show. You can be intentional about your character. You can have money and a career. You are the hero in your story. Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Dollar Car Rental Studios, it's The Ramsey Show, where debt is dumb, cash is king, and the paid-off home mortgage has taken the place of the BMW as the status symbol of choice. I'm Dave Ramsey, your host. George Camel, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host. He is also the host of The Fine Print, our newest and most popular podcast right now. People are zooming in, wanting to know what is in the fine print. This week's episode all about Christmas, getting ready, and making sure these things happen. So, we have a new book coming out today. The pre-sale on it starts today. I've not written a major trade book in 8 years. Ramsey Personalities have done them all. And the last one I co-wrote with Rachel, which was Smart Money, Smart Kids, and that was a #1 bestseller. So we've been putting all of you guys, you Ramsey Personalities, forward, including King Coleman's book was actually hit the street last week and will be a New York Times bestseller, I'm sure, or a national bestseller, I'm sure, as was Christy's Take Back Your Time. Christy Wright's book a few months back, and so this book will actually be on the street on January the 11th. It's called Baby Steps Millionaires: How Ordinary People Built Extraordinary Wealth, and How You Can Too. And Ramsey Personality at the time, Chris Hogan, did a book called Everyday Millionaires here that was a bestseller and a big seller. It did very, very well. And it was all about the study that we had done and all about the research that was done on millionaires. And Everyday Millionaires was about everyday people who had become millionaires. While we were doing that, I started seeing that the baby steps, us teaching the baby steps, was often resulting in people becoming millionaires if they followed the baby steps. And so a subset of millionaires out there is the ones that have actually followed our baby steps and have done it. And there's tens of thousands of them that are millionaires, but we see them on the debt-free stage all the time. It's not unusual for someone to do a debt-free scream with their house being paid off and with their paid-for home in conjunction with the current balance on their retirement plan that they have $1 million net worth. It's not that unusual at all. And so we're seeing baby steps millionaires in our lobby all the time. We're seeing them at our events. They're everywhere.
Yeah, I've loved having a front row seat meeting these people. And there really are people you'd never even realize are millionaires because they're not lavish people. They're the everyday, hardworking people who follow these steps. And over the course of 5, 7, 10, 15 years of following the steps and paying off their home early, go figure, they become millionaires.
Yeah. Absolutely.
It's a slow and steady way.
And so if you are deeply immersed in the Ramsey stuff and you're following the baby steps to a T and you've read the Total Money Makeover and you're doing it exactly like we teach there, you may not need to read this book. Other than for the inspiration of all the people who have actually become millionaires before you that are encouraging you that you can do it. So it's all about stories of people that have really done it. From any possible background, and they followed the baby steps, and it's about the detail inside the investing side of the baby steps, baby step 4, 5, 6, the things that lead you into becoming a millionaire. It's not about getting out of debt. It's not about budgeting. It's about the baby steps. Here's what they are, and the important ones for the millionaire part is you get out of debt so that you can invest, so that you can invest in your retirement, so that you can invest in your kids' college, so that you can get your home paid off, so that you can increase your generosity. And the stories of these individuals that have done this and mixed with just our 30 years of me sitting in this seat is what birthed this book. And so it is different than Everyday Millionaires, Chris Hogan's book that we published. Everyday Millionaires was all about the study. And this book is all about the exact baby steps, exactly how they lead you to millionaires. And it's also about the things the myths that people believe that they say, well, I can't get there. People like me can't get there. And we break a whole bunch of that down. Or the myth that I can't get there because I really wouldn't want to get there because wealthy is evil. You're evil if you're wealthy. And so we addressed some of those things as well, addressed a little bit of that in Legacy Journey as well. And so I don't have a whole lot of new ideas. So if you've read everything I've written and you listen to this podcast every single day, this book is not going to be like, wow, that's a whole new thing. It's not.
I thought you were going to unleash baby step 8.
No, it's okay. More of the same. I mean, it is more of the same. But if you really want to see, and you've got this friend who says, well, it's not possible today. This is the proof text. I can show you that not only is it possible, it's probable that you would become a millionaire if you do exactly what we show you to do, because it's been done tens of thousands of times. This is not a theory.
Yeah, and a lot of people have theories. They go, well, Dave, I disagree, and here's my theory. If you do this and you do this and you get fancy over here, that's going to be a faster way to become a millionaire. What I love about this book is it's you saying, hey, we've created thousands upon thousands of millionaires, and here's what they did, and you can too.
So I'll go ahead and tell you, like there's already, went on sale, pre-sale this morning, and I was just reading some of the comments on Instagram. There's always some butthole on Instagram, and he's like, oh, just another Ramsey book saying the same thing. Yeah, you're right, dude. Actually, you're fairly right. We are saying the same thing that we've always said, because it continues to work, and yet this is a different way of looking at it. Now, we did publish the entire study for the millionaires that was done for the Chris Hogan book. The Ramsey, it's my study. I mean, Ramsey Research did it. I own the company. And so Ramsey Research's study on the largest study on millionaires ever done is in the appendix as backup material. And so you can, you'll get you can read the study and you can see here's how the baby steps work, and here's how mathematically with like stuff like arithmetic, that will cause you to be a millionaire. The proof is there. And so if you've got a friend who doesn't think they can do it, this is your book to tell them they can do it. If you're wondering if you can do it, this is the book that'll tell you can do it. If you're halfway through and you're getting a little tired, this is the book that'll remind you, if you stick with it, you're going to be able to do it. And I also wrote a chapter in this that I thought was interesting. My editor honestly didn't agree with me, but I think that people don't go for millionaire because they confuse millionaire and billionaire. Millionaires don't have private jets. Millionaires don't have 6 homes and 7 cars. Millionaires don't drive $250,000, $400,000 Lamborghinis. That's what billionaires do. And a billionaire is 1,000 million.
Huge gap.
If you have $10,000, you are much closer to being a millionaire than a millionaire is to being a billionaire.
Wow.
And so if you see like Jeff Bezos flying into space, and that's what you think of when you think of millionaire, you've got it wrong. And if that keeps you then from becoming wealthy as a millionaire because you thought it was something it wasn't, I thought that was something that needed to be addressed.
Yeah, that's interesting.
I did address it. So it's very, very, the math on it's very interesting. I love ratios and that kind of stuff.
That sounds nerdy. I like it.
Yeah, it's very in there. So Baby Steps Millionaires at RamseySolutions.com. It's all in there. And of course, if you order, there's $100 worth of bonus items, including the audiobook, the ebook, the Legacy Journey audiobook and ebook, the Baby Steps Millionaires live stream, Ramsey Smart Tax, and a 30-day free trial to Ramsey Plus, all included if you pre-purchase. Baby. If you're not using Pure Talk for your wireless, you're paying too much. Pure Talk gives you the same great 5G coverage on the same 5G network as one of the big guys for half the cost. The average family saves over $800 a year. Go to puretalk.com and choose the affordable plan that's right for you. With their 30-day risk-free guarantee, you have nothing to lose. Go to puretalk.com and enter the promo code Ramsey to save 50% off your first month. George Camel, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. I'm Dave Ramsey, your host. This is The Ramsey Show. Common sense for your dollars and cents. Open phones at 888-825-5225. Robert is in Indianapolis. Hi, Robert. How are you?
Good. How are you today?
Better than I deserve. What's up?
Great. So I had a question for you. My wife and I have for several years been thinking about buying a vacation property overseas, specifically in Paris. It's been a long-term dream.
Cool.
And with the pandemic and whatnot, we found that, this might actually be more workable than we thought before, and we might be in a financial position to do so. We've got full-time jobs and kids, so it wouldn't be something that we'd use more than initially about 8 weeks a year.
Mm-hmm.
But we've had a hard time transitioning from earning to enjoying, and we just aren't really sure that this makes financial sense for us at this point in time. So I wanted to get your opinion on that.
Okay. What's the apartment cost?
About $1.1 million.
And what's your net worth?
Just short of $10 million.
Okay. All right. Well, that's a very reasonable ratio. And you'd be paying cash for it, I assume?
Yes.
Good. Okay. All right. So you're going to spend 10% of your net worth on a toy.
Yep.
I think that's reasonable. I don't have a problem with it.
Seems like a very big jump.
It is a big toy. So I have a couple of properties that are not my main residence. The very first time I did this, I bought a $103,000 lake house. And when I pulled that $103,000 out, and it wasn't much of a house, as you might imagine, but it was on the lake, shut up, and there was a dock, so be quiet. And so, which is all I wanted. I just wanted a place to camp near the boat, right? But it was a little bitty brick house and a cute little house. And I pulled that money out of my mutual funds, and I broke out into a cold sweat. It was really hard for me to do. That's what you're experiencing, except you got another zero on it, right?
That's pretty much exactly it. We've just found it, like I said, very hard to think that psychological change from earning to enjoying and not letting things get out of control, which is probably where we're a little uncomfortable with the idea.
Yeah. The thing that Sharon and I do and that we teach to high net worth individuals all the time, two things will help you with that. One is ratios. And the ratio is that you're spending 10% of your net worth on this. So the way we look at ratios is this: for a toy, a luxury item. If we put that much money in the middle of the kitchen table and set it on fire, would our life change? Answer, in your case, no, it would not change.
Not much.
Other than you'd have a severe depression over having burned $1 million in the middle of your table. But but I'm saying mathematically, you didn't ruin your life. Now, let's say you put $5 million in there. Now I'm starting to worry about this. Is not a good idea. You follow me on the ratios?
Sure, exactly.
Now, if you put $5 million in there and your net worth is $500 million, once again, we're not really worried about it.
No.
Okay, so you see what ratios do, right? And so when they say that, so-and-so builds a $1 billion house, but they have a net worth of $200 billion, the ratio is that's not spit, even though that's a lot of freaking money for a house, right? So the ratios are one thing, and in your case, that's why I was real comfortable with that. The second thing that we do is also on ratios, we always watch our generosity. And we want to make sure that we are giving and that we're filling up the Ramsey Family Foundation and we're doing other stuff to help other people that is equal to our luxury spending or greater. And that also tells me that I'm spiritually balanced and in check. This is not all about me. I'm not in hedonism mode where if I just get more stuff, I'll be happy. And you're not that guy either. I can hear it in his voice. Can't you, George?
Yeah. He's not a lavish guy. This is something they've worked really hard for, and you said it's been a lifelong dream, Robert. And it's not a car. I mean, this is a house, so this is going to hopefully hold its value over time.
I would think.
It's not a depreciating Lamborghini.
Yeah.
And so I feel good about this purchase. It's just the emotions that you're dealing with that's really the hindrance here.
And I guess the third thing that kind of mixes in there for a guy like you and a guy like me that knows numbers is a second home, a luxury item, never makes mathematical sense. Never.
Mm-hmm.
You can never buy a yacht and figure out what it costs you per hour to use it. It'll make you throw up.
Yeah.
You can never buy a lake house and figure out, this costs me so much a night to stay here when I stay at the lake house, which I've got a lake house. And if I ever add that up, it just will make my head hurt, make my head explode, right? But it's not about that. It doesn't make sense. You'd be better off to rent a B&B, Airbnb. You'd be better off to rent something 1,000 times before you bought. You could rent an apartment 8 weeks a year in Paris for the rest of your life and still not spend $1 million.
Exactly, and you'd probably laugh at the car I drive, because that's the juxtaposition there is what gets me. Getting there.
So it doesn't make sense financially. A $50,000 car doesn't make sense financially, because, like you said, both of the $500 car, the $5,000 car will still get me to the exact same location at pretty much the same time with pretty much the same reliability. And so It doesn't make it. The point is you've earned it, and you can enjoy it while you balance it with ratios and generosity. And if you do all those things, it'll help you walk through this spiritually and emotionally, because that's really all you're struggling with. Are you agreed?
Absolutely. No, I agree.
Now, is it a good time to buy real estate in Paris? Is it sucking over there? I don't know.
Well, it's not as strong as it has been in the past. It hasn't run up like it has here in the United States lately. So you can get, what we would consider something decent and a good section of Paris for.
Yeah. I know it's not measured in square footage. It's probably measured in hectares or something. But what's the square footage you get for $1,000 or for $1 million in Paris?
Well, it depends what part of the city you're in.
I know, but what are you looking at?
About 800 square feet.
Yeah, okay. So it's like comparative to Manhattan.
Yeah, roughly speaking, New York, San Francisco.
Yeah, okay.
Robert, I'm just curious, how did you get to a $10 million net worth? What was the key?
Well, when I was young, my father worked in the aviation industry in the 80s and the 90s, where it was up and down just like crazy. And I remember growing up when I was in middle school where, things were not good. I could tell that my parents were concerned, even if they didn't really communicate that there might be a job loss in the future. And I learned very young that I was not going to be in a position where someone else or some other circumstance controlled my life like that.
So you didn't inherit any of this money?
No.
What's your career field?
Engineering.
Okay, number one of Baby Steps Millionaires, number one in the millionaire study that we did.
So you just invested like crazy over the course of your career?
Yeah, when I graduated, I realized that, if I was earning 30 and I saved 10, that was, some time that I could buy back for myself. But if I was saving 20, I could buy back more time. So I dialed down my spending when I was young, really low.
How old are you?
And just packed it away in savings. 45.
Wow, you slammed it. Well done. Good job, man.
Maybe a little too much, but
no, I think. Well, yeah, you do need to loosen up now, because you've not practiced the enjoyment muscle, and you may not have practiced the generosity muscle enough. Both of those muscles may be underdeveloped, and so the enjoyment muscle and the generosity muscle need to come with the saving and investing muscle. All three muscles must be built to have a good life with money. And it's actually what we talk about in this new book a lot, in Baby Steps Millionaires. I talk about this stuff a lot. There's a lot of the same things we just talked about with him. And by the way, it went on pre-sale today if you're joining us late in the hour here. Thanks, Robert. That was a great discussion.
Awesome. $10 million, 45 years old. Amazing.
Buy $1 million, 800 square foot flat in Paris. Not a call I've ever gotten in 30 years. This is The Ramsey Show.
Life is full of firsts. As the first first and longest-serving Christian health cost-sharing ministry, CHM has shared medical expenses for its members since 1981. We believe you should have the freedom to focus on your health while being supported by a community of believers, giving you the opportunity to create many more firsts.
In the lobby of Ramsey Solutions on the debt-free stage, Tim and Michelle are with us. Hey, guys, how are you?
Hi.
Good, how are you?
Great.
Welcome. Good to have you. Where do you guys live?
Omaha.
Omaha, Nebraska.
Yes.
All the way to Nashville to do a debt-free scream. How much have you paid off?
We paid off $111,500.
Way to go, guys. And how long did that take you?
4 years and 8 months.
All right. I love it. And your range of income during that time?
We started off at a little over $84,000 and we finished off at a little over $95,000.
Good for you guys. What do y'all do for a living?
I'm a radiology technologist specializing in MRI.
I'm a welder.
Very good. Cool. So what kind of debt was your $112,000?
A private student loan was the bulk of it, 2 car loans and 2 credit cards.
Oh, we're kind of normal.
Yes.
How long have you been married?
Oh, about 20 years now.
All right. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
So 4 years and 8 months ago, you started Ramsey Journey. Tell me about that. What happened?
Well, it started when we moved from California to Nebraska. I was pretty gung-ho about paying off our credit card debt, and my coworker noticed this, and she gifted me your book. Thank you, Jessica Gill.
Way to go.
And at the time, though, I was doing such a good job that I didn't think I needed to read it. So I kind of tossed it aside, and we moved to Nebraska. Things were going well. We bought a house, and we didn't have any furniture. So I started using the credit cards again, of course. Yeah. And
now Tim knew better than to do.
Yeah, well, he let me do what I wanted. Because,
I can tell.
well, because I'm a really thrifty shopper, so things were going fine.
Yeah.
And of course, I maxed out the credit cards, filling up the house, but things were still under control. I had this all under control. And then, of course, life happens, and both the cars decided to crap out on us at the same time.
No.
Yes, and they were both Saturns, so we were told that they were not worth what it was going to cost to fix them.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, I looked up, and we had 2 car loans, 2 maxed out credit cards, a mortgage, and still the student loan. And I thought, maybe I should read that book that Jessica gifted us.
Was it a paperweight up until that point?
Yeah. Okay. Pretty much, yeah.
The coaster.
Yeah. And so I read it, and I got through it in a week and absolutely loved it. And I rushed at him, and I said, "You have got to read this. We need to do this." He rolled his eyes at me, and he said, "We do not need a get-rich-quick scheme." And I said, no, that's not what this is.
I like Tim.
Yeah.
I like Tim.
And so to placate me, to shut me up, he said, fine, give me the book. He read it in 2 days, and he said,
we got to do this.
Yep, that's exactly what he said, yes. And right after that, and I said, okay, now I heard of this thing called FPU. And he's like, okay. So we got through that. We did that
You went to
together.
Financial Peace University.
Yeah, we bought it online, and
Okay.
we were so excited every night to do that.
Wow.
And we immediately started, and 4 years later, here we are. 5 years later, yeah.
Boom. Just
Yeah.
binge watch FPU like Tiger King or something.
We
That's the way to do it.
really did.
Yeah.
We were so excited every night to watch that, yes.
It was.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
watch.
So at what point did you go, oh, this isn't a get-rich-quick scheme. This is get-rich-slow?
When I read the book, I was just like, this is not a get-rich-quick scheme. It's something we have to work through and go through all the steps. Yeah, it's a process.
Yeah.
So 4 years and 8 months, what were those things that you did tactically that actually made you see the progress?
When I started the budget, I got really scared because in the beginning, the bills really didn't match what we were making, and I was scared that we weren't going to be able to do it. But just starting the steps, really just starting out and just making the small amount of progress, making the little changes here and there, not spending as much on the grocery, not eating out. That was a real big one for us. Making that changes to not eat out so much, saying no to the kids. Those start to add up. You think that those are small changes, that's not going to make that much of a difference, but the next month and the month after that, all of a sudden, oh my gosh, it really is. And I was like, and we are making progress, and then you start to see the dents becoming bigger and bigger.
Yeah. That's incredible. So did you guys have cheerleaders along the way, or did people think you were crazy other than your friend who gifted you the book?
We had our kids, our families, but there were some people that were thinking we were nuts. And
those motivate me more than the cheerleaders.
I think our teenagers actually were our biggest cheerleaders. We shared everything with them along the way. Because we didn't want them to fall into the same trap, and they really motivated us the most.
Did they get involved in the process?
They did.
They definitely
What
did.
were they doing?
They honestly, I remember our kids the most. When I would make big progress, and I would say, we finished off a card, and I would take down our charts that we would color in. The boys would come, I want to finish it, I want to color it in, I want to do it. And I was like, wow, they're teenagers and they actually want to do this. I'm like, oh, that's great. Yeah. I was like,
they saw it as an art project.
Yeah.
That's great.
I know.
Yeah.
Love it.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. Well done, you guys. All right,
Thank
when
you.
somebody asks, what do you tell them the key is?
I want to get this right because this is important to me.
Okay.
To me, the secret to this is creative tenacity.
Good phrase.
Haven't heard that one.
Yes, thank you. I'm speaking to everyone who feels like that their particular life does not allow them to work the problem. When we started this journey, we both were working jobs that did not allow us to have second jobs. We had crazy shifts, and we didn't have anything that we could sell either. So like I've heard you say several times, Dave, if that is off the table, what do? You donate plasma. And while you're lying on that table, you do as many online surveys as you can, okay? Then also, you can download a lot of cashback apps like Ibotta or GetUpside or Rakuten. These are small things, but they can add up. I got about $2,000 just from those apps alone. You can also wrap your car, okay?
Did you do that?
No, I tried.
We called.
Yeah, I tried, but Omaha, Nebraska apparently isn't a big enough area. But I mean, I looked into it.
That's fun.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Maybe you.
I would do that. Not now, but I would have done that then.
Exactly. Yeah.
I'm not wrapping that car.
But we also were able to rent out a room in our house. Maybe these ideas don't work for you, but you can find something that does work for you.
Amen.
The point, and there's a lot of great ideas on Pinterest. The Dave Ramsey website has articles that list a lot of the apps that I didn't list. And Facebook, the Ramsey Baby Steps community, there's a lot of collaboration going on there, ideas being bounced around. The point is you can be creative without being ish. Just don't give up.
That's
this
good.
Totally possible.
Don't quit.
Bring her in, make her in charge of the marketing.
Yes, this is incredible.
This is great. Yeah, man. I'm telling you, creative tenacity. I love the phrase. I'm so proud of you guys.
Thank you.
How's it feel to be free?
What's your phrase?
It's amazing. It's great.
No, what's that word, remember?
The word
Relief.
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 A lot of relief.
That's it.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a good word,
Yeah.
too.
Yes.
Creative tenacity and relief, the themes of the story. I love it. Well done, you guys. All right, Tim and Michelle from Omaha, Nebraska. We've got a copy of The Legacy Journey for you. That is the next chapter in your story for you to be one of these baby steps millionaires we've been talking about this hour. And of course, another copy of the Total Money Makeover for you to give to somebody, because that's where your whole journey started, and that'll be perfect for you. You can pay it forward. Well done. Tim and Michelle, Omaha, Nebraska, $112,000 paid off in 4 years and 8 months, $84,000 to $95,000 income while using creative tenacity. Count it down. Let's hear a debt-free scream.
3, 2, 1.
We're debt free!
There's some tenacity right there.
Woo! I love it. This is the Ramsey Show. Thank you for joining us, America. This is the Ramsey Show. George Camel is my co-host today, Ramsey personality, host of the very popular podcast called The Fine Print on Ramsey Networks. Be sure and tune in. This week's version is all about Christmas spending, and you will get some real insights. Sandy's with us in Annapolis, Maryland. Hi, Sandy.
Hi, thank you so much for taking my call.
My honor. How can we help?
So we started off doing the baby steps many years ago, and that, of course, got easier and easier as my husband's income grew, as his business grew. And we are now 100% debt-free, including owning our own farm.
Congratulations. Well done.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. The only thing is we haven't moved on to meeting with a Smart Investor Pro yet because COVID hit and my daughter's immunocompromised, and I just have been trying to stay away from, offices and things like that. So we do have money just sitting in the bank, not doing anything. Mm-hmm. And that's honestly okay with me because I'm really unhappy living where we are. There's no internet. I homeschool my kids. Everything's at least 45 minutes away, including a decent grocery store. Any of their homeschool events are really like 45 minutes away. And I would really like
How are you doing homeschool events if you're not seeing people?
Well, like if they have swimming lessons.
With other
which are
people?
Like we have just... Well, we set it up so that it's private with just the instructor.
Oh.
Anything like, we also do small classes.
Well, I don't want to be mean or anything, but if a swim instructor is safe, so's a Smart Investor Pro.
Yeah, this is we just started again. So that is on my list of things to do.
I know.
We just picked up again this year. So
yeah, you just can't be selective about who carries the disease. That's not up to you.
Oh, no.
Okay.
I wasn't at all.
Okay.
Last year, we stayed out of everything, and it was last year that we were ready to see the Smart Investor Pro.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was I've just been really busy, and we just
if you can get to swim lessons, honey, you can get to see an investment advisor.
And they do it over Zoom now, too. So that's, you could easily meet virtually and talk with them still and have that conversation.
Okay, I'll stop beating on you. What's your question, darling?
So I want to move, and so that we can be someplace where it's not so hard. We have internet. We have, I had to come outside to call you.
Okay.
Things like
that.
So
what will the farm sell for?
I think it'll sell for about $650.
Okay.
But the problem is that we really need to buy something first, and then move because the kids have horses and stuff, and we still have to finish our kitchen and our master bathroom here at this farm before we can put it on the market. And it's kind of hard when you've got 3 kids to do. The house has been under construction since we bought it. And
when did you buy it?
We bought it about 8 years ago.
You have a construction project that's gone on for 8 years.
Well, each thing, we've done the floor, we've done the other bathrooms, the bedrooms.
You have plenty of money. Why have you not gotten this done?
Because my husband doesn't want to spend any money. He will only do the things by himself, and he won't hire anyone to do it.
How much money is in your bank account?
in my bank account is $520,000.
Okay. Here's what you would do if you were wise, and I don't know if I can talk you all into doing this or not. If you were wise, you would take some of that freaking money that you have hoarded in that bank account, and you would finish this construction project that has gone on so long. It's like Noah building the ark. You need to get this done. And then you need to get this house on the market, and you need to sell it. And when you sell it, you need to take your $1,100,000 that you will have in your pocket and go buy you something.
Yes.
Okay.
I don't even need to buy something that big.
You don't need to buy anything until you get this construction project done and this farm sold.
Okay.
Now. Ready, set, go. Get it.
Okay, so taking a mortgage on a new place isn't an option then?
No. You have $500,000 in your checking account. You're not taking out a mortgage.
Well, see, my husband is only willing to move if we spend less than the $520,000.
I like him.
And to move into a less rural area.
So, darling, listen, here's the deal. If you want more than you have in your checking, if you want to spend more than you have in your checking on the move, you and your husband and I are in agreement on one thing and one thing only, and that is the farm must pre-sell to do that. But you cannot you have drugged this out forever. It's got to get over.
I'm hearing a lot of, well, here's the thing. Well, Dave, you got to understand. My husband, he wants to do it this way. Y'all got to get on the same page and start to make some moves.
Yeah, task orientation here.
It's like molasses.
Yeah, task orientation. We need to decide on what the project is, what the elements of the project are, and then get it. Get after it. Y'all are just wandering generalities, and you got to just, I don't care if you want to buy a $400,000 or $500,000 house with this $500,000 cash, that's fine. Go buy you one. That's okay. I don't recommend that, though, because I think you will have another 8 years working on this stupid farm. And I don't think your husband wants to move at all. I think that's the other problem. He's figuring out a way to sabotage this because he likes the
Drag
farm.
It out.
He likes the farm.
You like a good farm, Dave.
I like a good farm. I don't like 45 minutes to nothing. That's okay. That kind of commute is for people in other worlds other than mine. But, yeah, no, oh, man. Yeah, here's the thing. You guys have done an amazing job being frugal and saving up a big pile of money. Don't mess this up by not having enough task orientation to properly follow through on the different elements of your situation. So wherever you want to end up, you need to properly follow through snappy, which is not what you've been doing, in order to get the best situation for all of you. So, good question. Open phones at 888-825-5225. So, let me be real clear so that some of you that don't have anything to do, I'll help you with your Twitter account, okay? You don't have enough to do, so you want to be a troll, okay?
You giving them free tweets here?
Yeah, I was not picking on her for having wanting to be separated from people due to having a daughter with an immune disorder. I completely agree with that decision, as a matter of fact. But you cannot choose between swim instructors and financial advisors. Both are one is apt to carry COVID as the other. And so you cannot use that excuse for kicking the can down the road. If you're gonna say we're not seeing any humans, that means any humans, including homeschool humans. They qualify as humans, and so one is as apt to carry COVID as another. So if that's your concern and that's what you're doing, you have to be consistent in your critical thinking skills. That's all I'm asking. And so I'm not picking on the poor lady with her daughter with an immune disorder. I completely agree with her, as a matter of fact, until we got to we're being selective about which humans we can be around, because some humans are safe and some aren't. This is one of the things some of you COVID people drive me nuts with. Your inconsistency in your logic just blows my brains out. It's unbelievable. So
there's a lot there. There's a lot in that call. I'm still unpacking it in my head. A lot going on. But they're doing great financially. That's the amazing part.
Got $1.1 million net worth.
They're millionaires, but they're really good at saving up money, but they haven't made a plan for it.
That's it. Planning there is a correlation between those that get money and keep it. It's not just from frugality. Frugality plus a plan is the only way you keep it. And this that's what I'm picking on her about, to get them up on the road. And let's get on the road. Don't run through the ditch.
Yeah.
Get up on the road. Run down the road. Run down a plan of some kind. You're right, George. That's a good observation. Okay. Good hour, George.
Fun times.
There we
Always.
go. James Childs is our producer. Kelly Daniels is our associate producer. I'm Dave Ramsey, your host.
This is James Childs, producer of The Ramsey Show. You can listen to all our shows with the Ramsey Network app on your smartphone. Browse by topic or even sync clips to your friends. Download the Ramsey Network app in your favorite app store today.
This is The Ramsey Show. You can be intentional about your character. You can have money and a career. You are the hero in your story. Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Dollar Car Rental Studios, it's The Ramsey Show, where dad is dumb, cash is king, and the paid-off home mortgage has taken the place of the BMW as the status symbol of choice. George Camel, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. Open phones at 888-825-5225. Exciting times around here at Ramsey. The Borrowed Future podcast is exploding. It is being shown everywhere, and podcast, Borrowed Future documentary.
We do have both.
We have a podcast, but documentary is running through my head, and the Fine Print podcast is what I was trying to get both of them in my head, because your podcast, The Fine Print, is doing extremely well as usual, and lots of things going on. Now, the Borrowed Future documentary, you can see it at Apple TV, at Amazon Prime, and at Google Play, and at borrowedfuture.com, and it's just like any other documentary. You can rent it, watch it. It's enthralling. If you're a teacher, if you go to borrowedfuture.com and want to show it to your class, we will let you watch it for free, no charge. But tens of thousands of people now, over 100,000 people have viewed this already, and it's just been out a few weeks. It's already a big hit. And one of the things that we address in Borrowed Future, of course, it's how student loans are killing the American dream. We are not against education. Some people mad about the student loan mess are saying all four-year degrees are worthless. They're not. You can make more than a lot of four-year degrees as a diesel mechanic or a welder. You can make more than most lawyers as a plumber. But all four-year degrees aren't useless. I have a four-year degree. All three of my kids have a four-year degree. My hope is that my grandchildren will also study and become academically proficient. The problem is not four-year degrees. The problem is that higher education, in some cases, and some people about higher education have lost your freaking minds. And you are studying nuanced, ridiculous things that have no use in the marketplace, and you're paying $100,000 or $200,000 for the privilege of getting a master's degree in left-handed puppetry. And it's just stupid. It's just stupid. So this free op, how do you say this?
I think it's just free op. FREOPP.org. Yeah.
They just did a full comprehensive rate of return analysis on college, and it's called Is College Worth It? And it's from freeop.org, FRE1EOPP. So this report assesses the economic value of nearly 30,000 bachelor's degree programs at 1,775 colleges and universities across the United States. Very interesting, detailed study on this. 4 in 5 engineering programs have an ROI above $500,000.
Wow.
You get a degree in engineering, you will make your money back and make an extra $500,000 over your life, at least, as a result of having done this. But what was the number? Was it 1 in 16? What was the 16 number?
16% have a negative ROI of all programs.
So almost 1 in 5. of all, not engineering, of all degrees. So when you get this degree and you pay too much for it at some kind of a famous school because you wanted to go to a famous school, or you study something that's just dumb. You're just dumb for getting a degree in that. It's kind of weird that we're dumb about education, but we are. And that's just dumb to get a degree in this nuanced BB stacking, underwater BB stacking. I've got a master's degree in that. I've got a master's degree in Czechoslovakian medieval art.
That doesn't ROI?
You're not going to make money on this, dude. This is going to be there's only one thing you can do with that. Become a professor of Czechoslovakian art. That's all you can do. There's no jobs for that except at Starbucks. That's it. And so you're going to be a barista. That's what you're going to be. And there's no ROI on your Czechoslovakian medieval art degree. So this is the thing, it's crazy.
Yeah, and it goes on to say here, and this is no shocker, that the bachelor's degree programs like engineering, computer science, economics, nursing, they do have a positive ROI. But when you start to go into art, music, philosophy, religion, psychology, it says students can be financially worse off than if they'd never gone to college at all. And so that scares me. And a lot of people, they're not thinking about college choice, and they're not thinking about the ROI of their degree. And we talk about how we're not against education. We just want the education to match the goals. So if you want to be a nurse, yes, you got to go to school. But if you want to go into art, unless you want to be an art teacher, you may not need to go get a 4-year degree at the Ivy League school.
Yeah, after accounting for the risk of dropping out, ROI for the median bachelor's degree drops to $129,000. On average. That's the median. Over a quarter of the programs have a negative ROI. Elite schools like Caltech and Penn dominate the list of the highest ROI programs, but attending an elite school is not a golden ticket. Some Ivy League degrees have negative ROI. And let me just tell you, it's hard to get an ROI when you pay $200,000 for a bachelor's degree. I don't care what it's in. It's hard to get a return on that investment. And versus if you'd have paid $60,000 for that same degree from a state school, you would have gotten the same freaking job, by the way. The same exact job. If you got, a degree in IT security, 4-year degree in information systems, specialization in IT security, excellent degree field. You got a degree in supply chain. Oh my God, obviously we need some of those people working right now. And so, you got a degree in that. That's a big time job. I mean, most of those jobs, people are coming out, state school making $85,000 right now with an undergrad. Wow. No masters, okay? And now that's a legitimate ROI, and you paid $60,000 for that or less for that degree. But if you want to go freaking over to some Ivy League and pay $225,000 for that, it doesn't ROI as quick, and even when it does, it's not as good, obviously, because you overpaid for virtually the same education.
Yeah, I almost fell into that trap. I almost went to film school, and it cost $200,000 for 4 years. And I didn't even know about Ramsey, and I thought, this doesn't sound like a good idea. I don't know that I'm going to be the next big director, so maybe I shouldn't spend $200,000 on film school.
Wow.
So there's a lot of mistakes people are making, and it all comes down to parents, guidance counselors, the college industry. There's so much pressure that these 17, 18-year-olds are feeling to make the biggest financial decision of their life.
Well, and across the culture, we've lied to them that you have to get a college degree to succeed. A, not true. B, the implication is that getting a college degree in something stupid is okay. It's not okay. C, going to any stupid school and overpaying is okay. That's not okay either. So get a degree that you don't pay a lot for in something that causes you to actually go into the marketplace and win.
Boom. There's the formula.
But I mean, the meme that's going around, I saw it the other day on Instagram, the one time a month I'm on there, said, here's Jim, the philosophy major, who hasn't had a job in 2 years, and he lives in his mother's basement, or he lives in his whatever. And here's Joe, who Jim makes fun of because he doesn't have a college degree, making $85,000 a year as a lineman. He's cutting off Jim's electricity right now. So that's the meme that's going on.
That's a good meme.
So that's it. That's what's going on. So check it out, borrowedfuture.com. Make sure your teens are watching this. Degrees and knowledge are important. Doing them stupid would be a bad idea. This is The Ramsey Show. If you're looking for ways to update your home without blowing the budget, I've got it. For years, I've been telling you about our friends at Blinds.com. Blinds.com makes it simple to shop top quality blinds, shades, and interior shutters from home with easy online ordering and free shipping. With Blinds.com, there's no need to renovate your entire home. Just change out what's on your windows with upscale choices like faux wood blinds, cellular, and roller shades, or even outdoor shades. Plus, Blinds.com guarantees the perfect fit, whether you do it yourself or you have them measure and install everything for you. Shop their latest looks and see how much you can save at Blinds.com today. The easy and affordable way to make your home more beautiful is Blinds.com. First major trade book I've done in 8 years is on sale, pre-sale starting today. It's called Baby Steps Millionaires: How Ordinary People Built Extraordinary Wealth and How You Can Too. It'll actually arrive at your house on January the 11th. If you pre-order, you get $100 worth of bonus items, including Baby Steps Millionaires audiobook and ebook. Yes, I read the audiobook. Legacy Journey audiobook and ebook. Yes, I read the audiobook. Baby Steps Millionaires live stream and the Ramsey Smart Tax filing for your income tax and Ramsey Plus 30-day free trial for that. All of this is over $100 worth of goodies included in your purchase for the book. We'll send you on out the Legacy Journey audiobook and ebook so you'll have it immediately, and that'll get you started on this whole subject, and then we'll get you baby steps over in the first week of January. So all of that at RamseySolutions.com. If you want all those pre-order items, just jump on our website and purchase it as quickly as you can. George Camel, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. Taylor's in Fort Worth, Texas. Hey, Taylor, what's up?
How are you doing, sir? I'm doing well.
Good. How can we help?
Yes, sir. So my wife and I have about $170,000 in student loan debt, and we are considering moving about 5 hours away for another job to try to get more intense of getting out of this debt. And I just wanted to know your opinion on if it would be a wise decision or not.
So what are these jobs? What are you moving from and to?
I would be moving from where I am now to doing the same job. I'm a nurse anesthetist, and I'll be doing the exact same job, just at a different location.
So what were you making and what will you be making?
It's about, I was making 150, and just the base raise would be about 190 with the potential to go up to about 290, depending on how much overtime I'd like to work.
Wow. There's a lot of upside here. And as far as moving, you're married?
Yes.
Okay. And how does your wife feel about this, the move?
So we have a 4-month-old. She's currently staying home with her right now. And she's just willing to do whatever for us to just tackle this debt and get out of debt even sooner so that we can, eventually get into a house and start saving for retirement and all the sequential steps of the baby steps.
You're asking the question of whether you should move. Why would you not do this?
Well, the pros definitely are the pay raise, and the DFW area is a good place to be. And the other pro is that we do have some family over there that would help. The con would obviously just be packing everything up and moving. I'm also in the reserves, and I also have drill here once a month. So that would just be another little roadblock. And those are kind of the things that are holding me up.
Wait a minute, you're moving to DFW? I thought you were in Fort Worth.
Yes, sir. I'm in Fort Worth. We would be moving 5 hours away in another city in Texas.
Where?
Lubbock.
Okay. All right. So Lubbock pays $100,000 a year more than you're making now in DFW for nurse anesthetist.
If I did some overtime, I could potentially exceed greater than 100. But
why does Lubbock pay $100,000 more than DFW? That's not logical.
They are they short-staffed, and
they're
DFW
desperate for help.
Yes, sir. And DFW is very attractive for families and people wanting to move here. So the supply for people wanting to be here is a lot greater than the demand.
Logical. Okay.
So the downside is just packing up and moving. No one likes doing that. But there's not a lot of downside, it sounds like. You said you have family in Lubbock, or are you saying you have family in Fort Worth?
So I have one family member here in Fort Worth, and my wife's majority of her family are in Lubbock.
Okay. Well, it sounds like I'm doing this move.
And here's the thing. No one said you had to stay 20 years. Go over there for 5 years, get the mess cleaned up, lay yourself a big nest egg, and then decide what you want to do. You may the supply-demand curve may shift again, and you may be able to move into a larger town if you want to move back to a DFW-type situation out of Lubbock, if you want a different lifestyle than small town, because Lubbock's obviously a small-town lifestyle.
Yes, sir.
And so, it's how you want to live. I don't care how you want to live. I got a buddy of mine from Lubbock, and it's so flat there, he says you can watch your dog run away for 3 days. And so, but and it's a wonderful town. I've been there a bunch of times. But so you just decide what you want to do, how you guys want to live. But I don't think there's anything wrong with, at your age and your stage of career and the first 5 years of your child's life, being near the kid's grandparents and her mom and dad and whatever and that kind of stuff. That's all positives. I think it takes the pressure off of the decision if you say it might not be permanent. It might be a 5-year thing. And then if you choose to stay, that's okay. But if you get over there miserable, you can always move. Because the beautiful thing about the career field that you chose is it has a wonderful ROI.
Yeah.
Unlike we were talking about in the first segment. I mean, nurse anesthetist is ding, ding. Do you hear the money he can make? And I'm a little surprised he's not making better than that at DFW. But that's because it's just a great income producer, man. That one, whoo!
Yeah.
They make more than a lot of docs. So, good choice. But yeah, I don't, and here's the other thing. You could look for yet another option.
What's that one?
Is there something in DFW that pays more?
Do some
Maybe
research.
It's just the hospital group you're with. Or is there something if you went to, let's go between Lubbock and in size and DFW. How about San Antonio? And move down, in between. I mean, Dallas is a major, top 20 city. San Antonio's not.
Yeah.
And so you can move, maybe there's a middle ground. I don't know. But the good news is family's near. I'm doing it for a while, I think.
Yeah, it's a reversible decision. And, he's got a great income, and it's $170K in debt. Either way, you're going to pay it off in 2 years or 2.5 years. And so to me, is it worth the move for that? Now, with the upside of overtime and really stacking up some money and getting yourself in a great financial position, I'm doing that if it means driving 5 hours and packing up my stuff and the baby.
Yeah, packing up your stuff's not a thing, man. You ain't got that much stuff. So, open phones at 888-825-5225. Melissa's in San Diego. Hi, Melissa. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hey, thanks for taking my call.
Sure. How can we help?
Hey there. I'm a long-time listener, but I've actually never heard this question answered over the air. So I am $70,000 in debt. I'm 28 years old. I have $55,000 in student loans. I'm probably a very common theme on that documentary you guys did on Borrowed Futures. And I'm working on my debt snowball. In December, I'm actually going to get a decent pay raise, and I plan on putting all of that into paying down debt.
Way to go.
And I'm wondering, thank you, and I'm wondering how to go about paying down my student loans, because when I look up how to do the student loans, I actually see 8 different student loans because it's a multiple-year degree. So it's student loans A through H, and they are all different amounts.
Yeah, so we're going to line those up in the debt snowball. Are you saying, do those count as 8 different debts?
Yes.
Yes. So just line those up from smallest to largest. We're ignoring the interest rate completely. And that way you're going to feel the progress. When you knock one out, you're going to free up a payment. You're going to feel that progress. You're going to knock the second one out, and you're going to work your way through. I wouldn't treat it as one giant loan. We want you to feel the progress here. We want you to feel the pain too. And you're going to get through this thing pretty quickly with this raise. So just keep following the baby steps. Does that answer the question?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what you do. What's the other $15,000 in debt?
So $12K is in the car and $3,000 is in credit cards.
Okay. So that $3,000's got to be interspersed somewhere in those student loans, in that debt snowball. And the $12K is probably at the bottom. It's probably your largest debt then, is my guess. If you've got 8 into 55, maybe not. You might have a student loan bigger than 12. But that car's towards the bottom, and that credit card's probably towards the top. And it will be interspersed. But yes, separate the 8. George is exactly right. That way you feel the progress, because that's what you want. You want this sense of traction. Human beings, all of us, psychologically yearn to have observable progress in our lives. That's why the snowball works. This is The Ramsey Show.
If you're considering a career in technology, I recommend Bethel Tech, and I'm not alone. Here's what Brendan said. Before Bethel Tech, I was driving Uber. Within 4 months of graduating, I got a job paying $60,000. About 2 years after that, I got a remote job that pays me $130,000, all thanks to what I learned at Bethel Tech. You could be next. Get started today at BethelTech.net and get $1,000 to $2,500 off of your tuition. Again, it's BethelTech.net/Ken Coleman.
Ramsey personality is my co-host today. This is The Ramsey Show. Open phones at 888-825-5225. Joe's in Fort Dodge, Iowa. Hi, Joe. How are you?
Pretty well. How are you doing, Dave?
Better than I deserve. How can we help, sir?
Yeah, so I'm calling in about maybe some interviewing tips. Specifically, I'm in the utility industry as an electrical designer. And I've been doing it about 8 years. I'm aspiring to be a supervisor. And it seems as though every time I interview, when I'm turned down, they'll say something to the effect of, you don't have any supervisory experience. So then I go from there. You know, my engineering manager and engineering supervisor are supportive and know I do a really good job. But that's the problem I keep running into is I just keep being told I don't have any supervisory experience, but I really don't have that opportunity per se in the position I'm in now.
I would preemptively strike on that then. Okay?
Okay.
And so meaning early in the conversation, I'm just going to say out loud, you probably notice on my resume I don't have supervisory experience. But in this case, it won't matter at all. Because what I do know is how to add value to other people and how to serve. And really, the essence of leadership is service.
Right.
Or something like that. That's real pithy like that. That was pretty cool.
That was really good. That was really good, Dave. I'm impressed. You got the job.
So, but I mean, if you preemptively strike and you say, and you give some indication you understand what leadership looks like. My job as a leader is not to boss people around. My job as a leader would be to add value to the people that I'm leading. My job would be to serve them and enable them to do their jobs better. And so the essence of leadership is really service. And so a servant leader is the only real leader. Everyone else is just a boss. And if you're looking for somebody to be a boss, right, I really can't help you. But if you want somebody to lead, I do have the personal character and skills to do that, even though I've not been in the role. Before it even enters their mind, you've already busted their head open, right?
Right.
That's the only thing I don't do. George, you got a suggestion?
What was the conversation like when they said, well, you don't have supervisory experience? What was your response?
I guess I really didn't have a follow-up to that other than just keep trying to do what I can. And
that was the turn down, though. That wasn't in the interview. That's when they called and said you don't get the job because.
I'm surprised it didn't come up in the interview. How is that not a conversation point?
Oh, they're gutless.
Oh, man. Is there a position there that you would want where you could work your way up in that company to a supervisor level?
That's what I'm trying to do, actually. So where I'm at now, I'm as I mentioned, electrical designer for our linemen, and the position would be for substation. So it's different, but it's at the company. So be working with a different group altogether. Big learning curve, but I wouldn't be bothered by it at all. Actually, excited to. And really, what happened is they turned me down maybe about a month ago, and the person that they accepted or that they gave the position to, they turned that down as well. So now it's posted again, and so I'm just trying to get ready to hopefully get us another interview.
Yeah.
And just.
Yeah. So okay, what I want you to do is when you get off, I want you to go to just jump on Amazon. Well, Amazon's not delivering real well right now. Let me think. Yeah, I'll just send you one. We've got a special edition of this. The book is 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership by John Maxwell. And I'll send you a copy of that as a gift, all right? And I want you to read that book like in the next 48 hours as soon as you get it.
Sure.
And what you're looking for are tweetable one-liners that you can drop all in this interview as an indication you have a clue about leadership.
Sure.
And then you just bring it up again preemptively and say, you can see, and a matter of fact, I've applied for jobs like this here in the past and didn't get them, and the turn down was I didn't have experience. But you know what? You don't need experience to love people. You don't need experience to lead people. All you do is have character and actually care about someone else and not be self-centered. Be other-centered.
Exactly.
And that's how you lead. That's how high-quality, world-class leaders lead. They're not arrogant jerks. They're not a boss with a cattle prod. That's not what they're doing, right? And so they're actually standing over going, come this way. This is where we're all going together. Let's all go together. Matter of fact, when we get there, there's going to be Skittles and rainbows. So let's go, boys and girls. Come on, let's go. And, this is what we're talking about. We're leading. We're not pushing. Leaders are pulley. Bosses are pushy. So that kind of stuff. So I'll send you Maxwell's book because John's a friend of mine. We did a Ramsey licensed version of it. I wrote the foreword in our version. I'll send you a copy of it. That's his bestseller. Anything John Maxwell wrote on leadership will help you, but that's his bestseller ever. You might, if you want to get a second one, probably 360-degree leader. You think, George?
Yeah. And Ken Coleman's got a great interview guide on his site that's free.
Oh,
it's a great resource on the interview side. So on the leadership side, definitely show them that you're engaging in learning about leadership and that you're very interested in this. But on the other side, the interview guide might help you just in the conversational pieces along the way.
Yeah, that's gold. That's gold. Jump on Ken Coleman's site, get anything he's got too. So
okay, I will do that.
Yeah, those things. But for sure, Maxwell's probably doing more on the art of leadership than anybody else out there. Most of my writing on leadership and the entree leadership stuff is more the science, meaning the tactical, the hand-to-hand combat, the what to do. But Maxwell is very art and is just, he's the grandpa in the space. And again, a good friend of mine, just a wonderful man, but also a wonderful writer on the subject. Of course, Jim Collins is one of the better writers too in this space, but he's a researcher, Jim is, on, like he did the book Good to Great. So overall, start reading some leadership books overall. That's the moral of the story here. But between now, how to prep for the job interview is actually give some indication you understand what leadership is, even though you've not been in a technical formal role. And if you've ever done leadership off-site, meaning you are, you're on the deacon board at the church, or you serve as the the treasurer at the local Kiwanis Club. I don't care what it is. I mean, anywhere you've been in a leadership role of some kind, extracurricular activities, so to speak, you're the captain of the softball team, I don't care. I'd bring that up and go, and here's the lessons I learned when I was doing that.
Yeah, and the right person can be trained if that's a piece of it. But, when I started here, Dave, I didn't have all of the experience and checked every single box. They just went, this guy's eager to learn. He's hungry, humble, smart. We can teach him all the practical skills.
Yeah, because there's not any born leaders. I mean, I've been to the hospital. They always say it's a boy. It's a girl. They never say, it's a leader. They never do that. So leaders are grown. When I started, I was a boss. And now I'm a world-class leader. I got over 1,000 team members. And I didn't say I was perfect. I just said I was a world-class leader, and I am. I'm really good at this. And I spend a lot of time, a lot of energy learning and growing into that. And that's what anybody has to do. You're right, George. Hungry, humble, and smart, to quote our friend Pat Lencioni, which is another great book to read, by the way. Anything he writes.
A lot of good book recommendations.
Anything that Pat writes is worth reading in that space as well. So he's, I guess I've read everything he's written too. I think I have. Oh, his new one is good on this. The Motive, I think it's called.
Oh yeah, that's a newer one. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think that's good for this subject as well.
I'd bring a stack of books and say, here's my reading list.
You get me started on books, man. I can sell some books because I love books. But the Motive is all about don't take a leadership role so that you get to be the boss. Take a leadership role because you have the privilege of serving.
We need more of that.
And if you had that, you're a real leader. Probably not in the presidential candidate, but you're probably a real leader. Ooh! This is the Ramsey Show. Christmas. This year it's in December, if you hadn't heard. Don't let it sneak up on you, baby. Nope. Hey, for some of you, what should be a time of joy or tradition or togetherness, for some people, Christmas is just stress. How are we going to pay for presents, grocery bills, even some travel? How are we going to do all this? All the other stuff, man. It doesn't have to be that way. You can put together a plan for your money, and you can still do it by Christmas. You'll have the confidence when everything else seems out of control. We're going to teach you a plan that will change your life in Financial Peace University. We've taught almost 10 million people in Financial Peace University how to get out of debt, how to save money, how to become wealthy, how to become a baby steps millionaire like the new book, and how to be outrageously generous. And you're going to put the plan into practice with budgeting, with the premium version of Every Dollar. Syncs up with your bank. You can track your spending. You can finally see where your money goes. This thing called money's had control of you. Now it's time for you to get control of this thing called money. You get Financial Peace University, the premium version of Every Dollar, with a Ramsey Plus membership. And if you want a free trial of a Ramsey Plus membership, just go to RamseySolutions.com/Ramsey Plus. Or when you go to RamseySolutions.com, just put in Every Dollar or put in Financial Peace University. Put in any of that. And there's no reason for you to have a stressed out life anymore, particularly a stressed out Christmas. It's supposed to be peace on earth. And it's just not for a lot of people. And here's the thing. You can fix that. And we have shown more people how to fix that than anyone else at Ramsey. So Ramsey Plus, a free trial at RamseySolutions.com, and you will quickly see what I'm talking about. George Camel Ramsey Personality is my co-host today. Kevin is in Richmond, Virginia. Hi, Kevin. How are you?
Hi, doing well. How are you doing, gentlemen?
Better than I deserve. How can we help?
All right. So I've been a Dave Ramsey listener for probably a year, going on 2 years now. And after me and my wife's second wedding this year, thanks to COVID, we ended up sitting down talking about our finances. We were fresh out of college, all kinds of fun, college loan debt, bought a house, both have vehicles on loans. And I just want to get a grasp of the baby steps. We got through the first one of the book, got through the first one, was motivated, and we just cannot seem to get past baby step 2. So I was wondering what advice you can give somebody that's struggling to stay on the grind of getting past step 2, since that's probably one of the hardest ones.
So when you say you're struggling with this, are you not seeing progress, or are you just not doing it?
I would say a little bit of both. I'd put the blame on myself, saying that I'm the one that's kind of the rational spender. When I see a good deal, I go after it, and that's my fault. But, I recognize it, and I want to do better by it. But that's really the big struggle for me, is that when I get a little bit of debt, I see room, and I try to fill it right back up when I find a good deal.
Yeah, my dad used to tell me when I was a kid, he'd say, go clean the garage. And I say, well, are you going to help? He said, no, I thought of it. He said recognizing a problem is 90% of solving it.
Yeah. And I've already went through and kind of sold everything that I didn't need, everything that had a value within me and my wife's house, just to try to get some motivation, some extra room to start it, get the ball rolling. And
but then you went out and spent everything at Target.
It did, yes.
So that doesn't do any good. You're just spinning your wheels. So how old are you guys?
I'm 24. My wife's 23.
Cool. So what's your household income?
Household income, I would say, is around $90,000.
Good for you. What do you do for a living?
You'll laugh at this one. I'm a finance director.
Cool. No, it's not unusual at all, man. I had a finance degree and couldn't add up my own budget. They don't teach us. They don't teach us that. They teach us corporate finance when we're getting our degrees. They don't teach you anything about personal finance, so it's not unusual. And what's your wife do?
My wife's a teacher.
Good. Okay. And how much debt do you have, not counting the house you bought?
Not counting the house, it's probably around, I'd say, $100,000.
What's that on?
So student loans for me is $75,000. For my wife is $36,000. She got extremely lucky and blessed and had some of her stuff forgiven. And then I have a truck at $25,000. And my wife has a car at $7,000, and then all the credit card debt is me at about $4,500.
Okay, I thought you said $100,000.
I'm sorry. What did that add? It ended up being a little more than $100,000.
Closer to $150.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So here, in order to do your day job, you have to be more detailed than you've been on this subject. You have the intellectual capability to be detailed and to lay out a process and follow a process. You have emotionally chosen not to do that so far. An indication of that is I have $100,000 worth of debt when actually you have about $150,000. Okay?
Yeah.
You following me? So what you're going to have to do is rise up out of the a little bit of hopelessness and a little bit of immaturity that you've described and say, time for me and my new wife to be adults, throw our shoulders back, because children do what feels good, adults devise a plan and follow it. And I want you to pretend like I just hired you for $200,000 a year to fix this simple little mess you have. Because in terms of the mathematics, it's a very simple, primitive mess. There's not that much to it. The only problem with it is the person in your mirror. That make sense?
Oh, yeah, I agree with you.
This is all behavior. It's not intellect. You don't have an intellectual problem. You're very smart. There's no question about that.
Yeah, Kevin, have you guys been through Financial Peace University?
We have not, no.
Well, what I want to do is gift you guys Ramsey Plus, and that's the membership that'll give you access to Financial Peace University, Every Dollar, our budgeting tool, the premium version. And what I want you to do is make a budget if you're not already. It sounds like you're probably not doing a regular budget. And then go through Financial Peace University with your wife, sit down, watch all 9 lessons, and you got to get intense, man, because right now I think we care more than you do about getting out of debt. And you got to care. You got to say, I want a different future for me and my wife.
I gotta poke at you enough to piss you off. I need to get you mad in a good way. You know what I'm talking about? Like I'm the drill sergeant and you're in boot camp.
Yeah.
That's where and so George is putting you in boot camp. Can you treat it that way if we give it to you as a free gift?
I think I could.
Yeah, intellectually decide I'm in boot camp. I'm going to get my butt kicked here, and I'm going to do everything exactly as these people say. I'm not going to second-guess anything because I'm the guy who made a mess, not the guy who cleaned it up. But you're about to be the guy that cleaned it up. If you'll follow this exactly what we tell you to do, you're going to be out of debt in 100% debt-free in 2 years, other than your house. Okay. You may or may not sell the truck in that process. I'll leave that up to you. That truck's questionable. But the rest of it is just you're going to have to get after it and, scratch and claw and keep your butt out of Target. That's the thing. So
it's a danger zone.
Yeah, I mean, you just, hey, I'm just like you, man. This is how I learned this stuff. When I first started this stuff, I thought that when you went to Sam's or Costco, the reason they checked your receipt on the way out was I thought it was federal law. You had to spend $200 when you're in there. And I thought they were checking to make sure I spent my $200. Oh, you didn't. You got to go back in there and get some more peanut butter, dude. Get that 5 gallons of peanut butter because you hadn't spent your $200. Because I just went in there and bought crap. I mean, this dopamine rush that you get of just buying stuff, and those of us that are spenders, we understand that. But you've got to get up over the top of that and say, hey, if I can get my act together, if I live like no one else, later I can live and give like no one else, changes everything.
Turns out you can go broke saving money. How's that for a deal? Everything's 100% off when you don't buy it. Oh, man.
George, that's rather...
I'm excited to be a sergeant in this boot camp. I've never been a sergeant. It's exciting.
There you go. Just work on it. I can just see you yelling at somebody. There.
I've got a great yell.
Yeah, I bet. This is The Ramsey Show. Have a friend or family member that needs a daily dose of Ramsey advice in their life? Let them know about the Ramsey Call of the Day podcast. It's a quick hit of advice about life and money in under 10 minutes. Check out the Ramsey Call of the Day podcast wherever you listen to podcasts. This is The Ramsey Show. You can be intentional about your character. You can have money and a career. You are the hero in your story. Live from the headquarters of Ramsey Solutions, broadcasting from the Dollar Car Rental Studios, it's The Ramsey Show, where debt is dumb, cash is king, and the paid-off home mortgage has taken the place of the BMW as the status symbol of choice. I'm Dave Ramsey, your host, George Camel. Ramsey personality is my co-host. I almost called you Joe Camel. Did you hear that?
It's happened before. It wouldn't be a first. I'll take it.
That would be...
Iconic name.
That would be bad. That would be bad. That
a little
would
different.
Be like teaching teenagers to smoke cigarettes. I can't imagine you doing that.
I don't even know if teenagers know who Joe Camel is. It may have been...
Not current teenagers, but people who used to be teenagers do.
You used to be one.
It was a long time ago. Oh, my goodness. Open phones this hour as we talk about your life and your money. That we can actually help you with. 888-825-5225. Jenny is in Denver. Hi, Jenny. Welcome to The Ramsey Show.
Hi, guys. Great to talk to you. My
too.
question is, should I allow my 25-year-old daughter to use money that was intended for college to pay off her credit card debt?
So where is this money parked?
It is in mutual funds in a brokerage account that she doesn't have access to, even though she's over 21. But
And
we've kind of kept that because we don't think she's ready for us.
How much credit card debt is this?
She has about $8,000 in credit card debt and $3,000 in a student loan that she never took any classes for.
Oh, so she's already
And
done
how much
some
money?
college?
How much money is in this quote college fund?
It was given to her by her grandmother, and it's $130,000 total. My husband and I actually put in about $20,000 of it, but most from her grandma.
Whose name is it in?
It's under her name, and it's not under a 529 or anything, but that was the intent when she was a baby. And she's already finished with college. My husband and I paid for her college.
Oh, she did, and you paid for it. Well, good for her.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you're the custodian on the account?
Well, not officially anymore, but
Yeah, I
I heard
know.
you say, Dave, that if they you don't think they can handle it, they might not know the passwords, etc.
Okay. So you're basically keeping her money from her to protect her from her, is what you're saying?
Correct. We haven't seen good.
Okay. So what is she? What behaviors is she engaged in that make you think she's not capable of handling this?
Well, she's recently unemployed, which is why she asked us about it, because I think she's getting, kind of stressed out. But anyway, she spends a lot of money. We've asked her to take your class, but she won't do it. She won't talk to us about sitting down with us and doing a budget. And she's learned all this as a kid, and in high school, her school taught your class. But she just seems to spend as fast as she can, it seems.
That's my concern, is if you clean up the $8,000 with this fund, she may just rack up another $8,000. There was no lessons learned here.
That's my concern, and, yet she's 25 years old. I'm not sure exactly, what place I have in this.
Yeah, I mean, there's two sides to this equation right now. I mean, there's a side where there's a concerned mom who doesn't want her daughter to blow $130,000 and look back and regret it. There's another side. If she figures out that money's there and you don't give it to her instantly, she's going to sue your butt and win. This is not your money. You don't legally have control of it anymore.
Right.
You're just trying to do a little smoke and mirrors here to keep your hands off of it. So I mean, you've got to balance this a little bit between the fact that what you're doing is for her own good, but you're not going to get away with it forever.
Correct. Yeah, I know that.
It's not in a trust.
No.
It's simply in her. It's simply her bank account, and she doesn't have the password.
Yes. I feel bad about that. I do, but I also don't want to see the money that her
but I
grandmother
kind
gave
of
her.
don't. I'm with you. I love the fact that you're trying to help her, but I don't know how much longer we can babysit this child, and not get yourself in trouble in the process.
Okay.
So why do you think you guys have been unable to persuade her to grow up?
She's pretty hard-headed and has a lot of different value systems than she was brought up with and what her dad and I have, and I think she doesn't want to listen to us.
So you've really lost the ability to have a reasonable dialogue.
Yes.
I don't know how to answer this for sure. I'm trying to think about it live here on the air with 22 million people listening at the moment while I'm hesitating and stumbling because I actually agree with both sides of this equation. What would I do if I woke up in your shoes? Well, number one, I'd be crying a lot because this is such a disappointing, horrible situation. Number two, I probably would have done what you have done to this point. I often told my kids that you won't find this Uniform Transfer to Minors Act account if you're doing heroin or running around and living on the back of a yacht like you're some kind of a reality star. You just won't know it's there. Good luck. I'll never give it to you. And I told them that. However, we're down to 4 years over time that she is legally in control of this account. If she ever gets this, man, you could get yourself in a mess here. So I'm about ready to hand this. I'm about ready to hand this account to this kid and just wash my hands, and go. You know what?
Okay.
You are a mess, and you're going to make a mess with this, and I am disgusted, and I hate it because I think I'm doing you harm, and as your mom, it makes me cry, but, you know, you just don't have the values, and you're about to mess this up. I know you're going to, and I wish you wouldn't. I wish you'd go to Financial Peace University. I wish you'd grow up and turn this money that your grandmother left you, but she's going to, because your grandmother's going to be in heaven shaking her head. She's ashamed of you. And
well,
I'm ashamed. I'm ashamed. Oh, okay. Well, we're all ashamed of your behavior. Will she talk to her grandmother?
I'm sorry, Dave.
Would she talk to her grandmother?
Yeah, not about that. Her grandmother gave her $5,000 last year to clean up the debt, and
but will her grandmother knock a noggin on her? Knock a knot on her?
Yeah, I could ask for that.
She might hear. She's probably done with you. Is what it sounds like I'm hearing. With you telling her what to do.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe Granny can get away with it, because Granny put most of this money in there.
Yeah.
You know, another.
Yeah.
There's legal issues involved here. Okay?
Okay.
And then there's the moral issue of whether you're going to bring harm to your child. If I was the grandparent, I'd be asking you to transfer me the password, and I'd take the money back, and I would say, get after it, kiddo, sue me. I ain't giving you nothing. And I would knock a knot on her if I was the granddaddy. Grandma.
Yeah.
Now, mom and dad might be different, but good luck suing your grandma.
Ooh, I wouldn't do that.
That's a special place in hell right there. Oh, my gosh. But, yeah, you got legal issues because you guys put the money in her name.
If you're ready to get out there and find a job you love, then you need to hear this. Job hunting can be stressful and time-consuming, but my friends at ZipRecruiter have made the whole job search way easier. ZipRecruiter is rated the #1 job site in the U.S. by G2, and it's free. So how does it work? First, go to ZipRecruiter.com/Ken. Then create a free profile and let their technology do the hard work by finding and sending you jobs that are a great fit. And get this, ZipRecruiter pitches your profile to companies whose jobs match your skills and experience. If someone from that company likes your profile, they can personally invite you to apply for the job. So if you're ready for an easier job search, check out ZipRecruiter. Sign up for free right now at ZipRecruiter.com/Ken. That's ZipRecruiter.com/Ken. Sign up today, absolutely free, and let ZipRecruiter work for you.
Well, folks, we've got a new release for you. Most people know me as the guy who's done stupid with a lot of zeros on the end. I made my first $1 million in my 20s, and then I lost it all because I was stupid. Then I became a millionaire again, and then a multimillionaire. And after 3 decades of teaching other people to handle money God's ways with common sense, we've led literally tens of thousands of people into becoming millionaires using the baby steps. And so I haven't written a book in 8 years, a major trade book anyway. And so I wrote one. It's called Baby Steps Millionaires, How Ordinary People Built Extraordinary Wealth and How You Can Too. It goes on sale today. If you buy a copy of it in pre-sale, the book will actually be shipped. It's only $20. The book will actually be shipped January the 11th. And if you buy it in pre-sale, you will get the Baby Steps Millionaires audiobook, which I just completed the other day. You won't get it till January. And ebook, the Legacy Journey audiobook and ebook now, the Baby Steps Millionaires live stream event that we will do in January, the Ramsey Smart Tax for you to file your taxes free, and a 30-day free trial of Ramsey Plus, so you can learn these baby steps and how to become a Baby Steps millionaire. You get all of this at RamseySolutions.com. Pre-order your Baby Steps Millionaire copy for $20 and get all of those goodies now. And, of course, the book will actually come there in, there you go, YouTubers. The book will actually come in January the 11th. Our question of the day comes from Blinds.com. Find out for yourself why Blinds.com is the #1 online retailer of custom window coverings with free samples, free shipping, and new promos all the time. You save all the time. Always use the promo code Ramsey. Hey, listen, if you want window blinds, this is a great American company. I use them personally. I recommend Blinds.com.
Today's question comes from Jenna in Baton Rouge. My parents have always emphasized how important it is to have a good credit score. My husband and I are debt-free other than our mortgage. When we pay that off, we will not have anything left to show up on our credit report. I have to admit, I'm dragging my feet on paying off our home because I'm afraid of how it will impact us in the future. Should we slow down our payoff in order to keep that debt open as long as we can? Oh boy, should we keep debt around to avoid our credit score dropping?
I want to pay money so I have a credit score.
There's real fear here, apparently. They're afraid of how it will impact them in the future. Well, here's the thing I know about credit scores. You only need one if you want to take on debt. And even then, you don't need one for a mortgage. So their question is, should we slow down our mortgage payoff? So let's go the hypothetical route. They pay off the mortgage, and their credit score disappears after a little while. Now you don't have a credit score. Well, do you plan on going to get a car loan? And if you plan on going to get another mortgage, I don't know why you would, but you can do that manually underwritten, a no score loan with no credit score.
You did that.
Yeah, I did that. And so there's an irrational fear.
You went to Churchill Mortgage with no credit score, got a manually underwritten loan, and you're not far from paying off your house now.
No. We did it. We're about to do it in over 2 years.
You're not hesitating in order to have a credit score.
I have no fear of having no credit score. And we didn't have one when we got the house. Obviously, we have one now, and it'll disappear. I don't know what my credit score is. I don't care because I don't plan on going into debt. And so the irrational fear is coming in because they think, how am I going to live my financial life without a score? And
well, here's the problem, Jenna. You actually believe that you have prospered because of your credit score, because your parents taught you that. And your parents were wrong. And that belief that you have prospered because of your credit score is what's messing you up here. Because that belief is a lie. You are believing a lie. Okay? No one has prospered because of their credit score. The credit score is built on the fact that you borrowed money, paid it back on time, and you grew your credit score. Why did you do that? So that you could borrow money and pay it back on time so that you grow your credit score. Why did you do that? So that you could borrow money so that you could pay it back on time.
It's like Groundhog Day.
And so, yeah, I mean, this is a dog chasing its freaking tail here. And you guys are just going in circles, and all you're doing is keeping the bank open and not Jenna open. And so, Jenna, this is about what makes you prosperous. And by the way, your credit score is not a measure of your prosperity. It is not a measure of your net worth. It's not a measure of your income. As a matter of fact, it doesn't take any of those things into consideration. The only thing your credit score takes into consideration, the algorithm that builds it, is 100% based on how much you play kissy face with debt. That's all it is. And so, you know, all of your fear, all of your hesitation is based on you believing a lie, and the lie is that credit scores cause prosperity, and they do not. They merely measure how much you've been playing kissy face with the bank, how much interaction you've had with debt. They merely measure that, and the only thing they give you is the ability to borrow again and more, which does not cause prosperity. It causes the opposite. It causes prosperity for the freaking bank. Stop it. Pay off your stinking house. Gosh.
We did an episode on the fine print all about this. It's called The Dirty Truth Behind Your Credit Score. You can check it out wherever you find your podcasts. And we did this, Dave. We went through and we talked to someone at Churchill, and they explained to us the manual underwritten process. We called apartments and found out you can rent without a credit score. I just rented a car, and I rented hotels just this past week without a credit score, with a debit card. And so these things can be done, but there's this myth out there that I'm not going to be able to move in my financial life. I can't breathe if I don't have that good credit score to show everyone.
Yeah, and it is mythology. All right, I got to go back to that last call before the break.
Oh, yeah.
I'm still swimming in that. So the mom calls. She's got a 25-year-old daughter. This money is in the daughter's name. Mom has the passcode. There's $130,000 in there. Mom put in $20,000. Grandma put in $110,000. It was earmarked for the kid to go to college. The parents instead paid for the college. The daughter, however, has gone off the rails. Doesn't want to have anything to do with her parents' values. Doesn't want to work. Is not working. Is irresponsible. And so getting this $130,000 as a gift from her grandmother and her parents is not going to be a blessing to her. It's going to bring harm to her. However, it is legally her money. Technically, it is in her name. Her grandmother put it in her name, and her parents put it in her name. And so there's really two options here. One is follow the law and give the kid the money. And she's going to blow it and screw up her life. And we're all going to be pissed at her. And she's even going to be pissed at herself later. It's going to be a prodigal son moment, like you said at the break. She's going to, have to find her way to the pigs. The other option is to not give it to her, and you could have all kinds of trouble from her. She finds some jackleg lawyer and sues everybody involved. So I didn't want the mom to have that liability in order to protect this kid who's misbehaving. The only thing I could come up with is for the grandmother to take control of the situation, put the money back in her checking account, and just tell the granddaughter, good luck with this.
Yeah.
It's my money to start with. I just took it back. You want to fight me on that? We'll talk about it in court. Grandma's going to lose.
Yeah.
If she goes to court.
Because it was in the daughter's name.
Because she took her money.
That wasn't rightfully hers.
Well, she gifted it to her to start with, then she took it back.
Mm.
And so you might actually get away with it if you had a judge with a sense of humor, but legally speaking, the title of the money has been transferred. I'm not a lawyer, but that's what happened. That's the downside of putting money in your kid's name. Your kid could go off the rails. And they went off the rails. I don't know.
That's a risk she was willing to take. But the question was, should I pay off the $8,000 of credit card that she racked up?
No.
And the truth is, it's just enabling at that point.
No, you either give her the whole money and let her pay it off, or you tell Grandma to clean out the account, put it in Grandma's checking account if Grandma's willing to bow up and fight the kid. But Grandma just gave her $5,000 the other day, so I don't know if Grandma's willing to fight her or not.
Yeah, she sounds like...
I'm a grandpa. I'd be ready to fight her.
I'd be willing to pay to see that fight.
I'd be going, good luck, baby child. I love you. I love you so much, I will fight you.
That's true love.
That would be it. This is The Ramsey Show. George Camel, Ramsey Personality, is my co-host today. Travis and Ashley are with us on the debt-free stage in the lobby of Ramsey Solutions. What's up, guys?
Hey, how are you doing, Dave and George?
Good to have you, brother. So how much, where you guys live?
We're from Fayetteville, Arkansas.
Cool. And how much debt have you paid off?
$195,236.
Yep.
And how long did this take?
Right at 6 years.
Good for you. And your range of income during that time?
Started at $76,000 and now we're just north of $160,000.
Yes.
Excellent. What do y'all do for a living?
So I started as a graphic designer at the beginning of this, and now I'm a creative marketing manager.
Okay.
And I'm an accountant.
All right. Very good. So 6 years, $195,000. I'm going to guess and say maybe you paid off your house?
You're right.
Yes.
We did.
We did.
Looking at weird people.
The weirdest.
Debt-free completely.
Yes.
Wow. Good for you. Well done. What's the house worth?
Probably about $250,000 now.
Excellent. Very cool. Good for you guys. So tell us a story. What happened 6 years ago? How'd you get plugged into Ramsey, and what are you doing?
So actually, I had a professor that told me that before you start applying to jobs, you should Google your own name so you could figure out what the employer's going to see. And whenever I did this, I found out that my grandparents had actually filed for bankruptcy. And I didn't know that. And my grandfather is senior, I'm the third. And I had no idea.
Oh, my goodness.
So whenever I did this, it really made me go, well, I did what every 21-year-old would do and go, how do I get rich quick? So I started Googling it because I'm like, I never want this to happen again. And sure enough, your video was there. And you said...
Oh, get rich quick?
Well, you
I said don't get rich quick.
Don't get rich quick. You said the best way to get rich quick is to get rich slow. And I skipped that class that day because I did about an hour before the assignment was due. And from there, we just started instantly and never looked back.
Yeah, this was about the time we started dating. And he pretty much was like, hey, I'm on this journey. Do you want to come along for the ride? And I was like... yeah, let's do it, because I think we both have really big dreams, and it was a vital part of being together and going on this journey.
So is this all mortgage?
Actually, it was $45,000 of student loans, and the rest was mortgage.
Wow.
My student loans, not his. So I was, of course, like, okay, let's go on this journey. And he's like, okay, let's tackle your student loans.
So that became the first one in the dead snowball.
Yes.
That's right.
Wow. And you guys just plowed right on through to the mortgage.
Yes.
We did. I mean, from the time we bought the house, the mission was to pay it off.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's incredible. Very cool. What were the tactical things that you guys were doing? What were the sacrifices along the journey?
Well, he hates when I tell this story, but the first year, I'll just start with, I really wanted an autumn wreath for the front door, and that's what started it all. I didn't get that autumn wreath, and then it turned into the next big decision, and we just consistently started saying no to material things or things that we couldn't have right then because we couldn't afford them, and we just went down that path, one decision after another, and just stayed consistent with that.
George, this is a common thread. When you give up the autumn wreath,
that's it.
That's when you know you're going to be okay. The autumn wreath?
$10.
You're kidding.
$10. So.
Wow. $10 wreath.
This was a breakdown, right? I mean, a meltdown over the. I mean, it's not even a Christmas wreath.
No,
it's an autumn wreath.
It was a fall wreath. I did not get to have a fall wreath on my door, and that's how he knew I was
61.
serious.
I've still never had one. Who knew? I didn't know that was a thing.
They're big in Arkansas, apparently.
Yeah, well, I'll probably get home and Sharon's probably got one hanging on the door by the time I get there. Now that I said
noticed
this,
it.
Yeah,
that's hilarious.
Oh man, the autumn wreath
that caused
breakthrough.
a fight.
It's the autumn wreath. Yeah, there has to be this defining thing.
That was
the moment. That's fabulous. I really like that because you can remember this silly little thing and you go, that's when it turned.
That was how we knew we were committed and all in, and we were going to do whatever it took, and we were going to say no to the now so we could say yes later.
Ooh,
Sharon and I, when the kids are little, it's hard to get a babysitter. So we finally get a babysitter. We finally are going out to eat, and we left, and we were a mile and a half from home. I can show you exactly the traffic light we were sitting at, and I forgot the stupid food envelope.
Oh.
And I said, well, there's an ATM right there across the street. We can just go through, get that, and we'll put the money back when we get back to the thing. And as I'm pulling across that street towards that ATM, I said, nope, not doing that. And we turned around that parking lot, drove back home, and something about that action, that was it. That was the day it was done.
Wow.
We're going to do this way. We're going to do this envelope system. We're not going to screw around with this. We're not going to cheat. And that's what the autumn wreath is. That's so cool. Right. I love that. That is
incredible.
Awesomeness.
So, do you have the autumn wreath up now?
Oh, you believe it. I have an autumn wreath, a Christmas wreath. I have a wreath for every season now.
She's got the wreath collection now.
Got a 12, one for each month. A September, October wreath.
Oh, I love that.
This is so great. Yeah, this is, because I got to tell you, that's important that you recognize that, because that gives you the tools then to go do anything else you want to do from this point. So now that you're 100% debt free, what's your first big, wonderful thing you're going to do?
Honestly, we have 2 horrible cars, so we're actually planning on upgrading both of those very soon.
Yeah, you need to. You need to.
Yeah, so that's really next. And then honestly, we want to come out here and celebrate and.
Got to do that.
Future home, future kids. We don't have kids, so we're just starting to save for the future.
Wow.
Very good. Good for y'all. I'm so proud of you. Well done. All right. When somebody asks, how old are you?
28 years old.
Yes, both.
And you have paid for a house that's worth $250,000.
Yes.
You don't have a dime owed anywhere in the world.
No.
And when someone says, "How do you do that?" What do you tell them the secret to getting out of debt is?
Consistency, honestly, that's what it is. You have to sit down every month. He'll say the budget, but I think that goes with consistency. It's just sitting down every month together and knowing what the end goal is going to be, why you're doing it, where you're going, and you're going to have good months, bad months, but as long as you both know where you're going and what the goal is, I think that's the big thing. Is that's how you stay gazelle intense, is you know what you're working towards.
Wow. I'm just curious because a lot of people, they have their student loan debt and they tackle that, and that's wonderful. But what made you guys go, we want to do something so big and so bold at 28 years old?
We're going to pay off our house.
Well, we knew our goals for long term were not normal, and we knew if we wanted to get where we wanted to go, we were going to have to do something radical. And when we really sat down and looked at it, this was just the kind of thing we were after.
Yeah.
So at 22, you guys said we want a long-term vision. We don't. This is not a 2-year thing. This is a 10-year thing, a 15-year thing. What do we want to be doing at 30?
Yes, it's a lifelong thing. I joke with people at my work. I'm like, we're going to retire at 35 if we can, and we're just going to, live this amazing life. And everyone always laughs, but I think we're both just that weird where we're like, we really want to do something that not the average person is going to do.
Yeah, you're on track to do that. So proud of y'all. Very, very well done. Very well done. Who was your biggest cheerleader outside the two of you?
I would say, honestly, we had some SmartVestor pros that helped us. Josh and Melissa, thank you guys so much. Our friends Andrew and Megan, they're on the journey too right now, so they did a great job. And then, honestly, we took FPU, and having the whole group together was just awesome. Jen and Candace, thank you so much.
For leading Financial Peace University.
Yes. And our family. I mean, our family, they didn't understand what we were doing a lot of times, and they didn't understand, why we were doing it, but they knew, they trusted us, and they just let us do our thing. So
And it was a big deal to us, and it was important, so they were super supportive.
Your grandpa that filed bankruptcy still alive?
No, he's not.
Was he when you looked that up?
Yes, he was.
You ever talked to him about it?
I didn't. I didn't have the heart to do it.
I didn't blame. I don't blame
mean, he's a true
you
hero of mine.
You don't want to shame him. That's okay. I don't blame you. Just be interesting. And I think about him right now. He's up there smiling in heaven. Look at this.
Oh, I know he is.
This is pretty cool. This is pretty cool. You've changed your family tree, dude. Well done. Very well done. Whoop, 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 whoop.
So
Good
cool.
stuff. Got a copy of The Legacy Journey for you. That's the next chapter in your story. Baby Steps Millionaires. That's what you'll be before you know it. Probably by the time you're 30 at the route you're going. Ding, ding, man. Excellent. Excellent. And a copy of Total Money Makeover for you to give to somebody else. And thanks for going through Financial Peace University. We appreciate that. I'm glad it was a blessing to you.
Thanks, Dave.
Very, very well done. All right, Travis and Ashley, Fayetteville, Arkansas. $195,000 paid off. House and everything in 6 years. They're only 28 years old, making 76 up to 160. Count it down. Let's hear a debt-free scream.
3, 2, 1.
We're debt-free! Yeah! That's how it's done right there, baby.
Change the family tree, change the Google search. Now when you Google Travis's name, his debt-free story is going to show up.
Is that this little YouTube video right here? Incredible. This is The Ramsey Show. Our scripture of the day, 1 Samuel 16:7. The Lord does not look at the things people look at. People look at the outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart. Theodore Roosevelt said, every time we face our fear, we gain strength, courage, and confidence in the doing. George Camel Ramsey Personality is my co-host today. If you haven't heard, we launched pre-sale on the first book I have done in 8 years today. A brand new book that comes out January the 11th. You can start purchasing it now with all kinds of extras added on, about $100 worth of goodies. If you pre-purchase Baby Steps Millionaires, how ordinary people built extraordinary wealth, and how you can too. Ben is with us in Tuscaloosa. Hi, Ben. Welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Thank you. How are you doing?
Great. What's up?
So I am currently a graduating senior at the University of Alabama. I'm getting my accounting degree, and as of yet, I am debt-free. I got a full-ride scholarship.
Good for you.
So, well, thank you. So right now, I am looking into a master's program to get my 150 hours and meet my CPA requirement. And I'm considering University of Alabama or UT Austin. And the reason I'm considering UT Austin is it is the #1 program in the country for accountants. Alabama's number 11, and Alabama's going to cost me about $30,000. UT Austin would cost me about $50,000. So I would be in debt for that amount, and I'm wondering if it would be worth it.
You'd be in debt for what amount?
Either the $30,000 or the $50,000.
So you don't have the money to go get your master's.
I don't have cash for it, so I'd be getting...
So you got scholarships for your undergrad at Alabama. Why can't you get scholarships for your master's?
I could look into it.
Might be worth $30,000.
I should have. Yeah, that's true.
Can you work as an accountant once you graduate before you get the master's, or a while?
I am working this summer. I got an internship. I had one last summer as well. They've given me a full-time offer at about $60,000 a year.
Are you going to take it?
So I have that. I am unsure. I'm looking around at other companies. It's with a smaller firm, and I'd like to go public accounting. I think there's a little bit better of a career outlook.
Well, here's my question. Can't you work for a year and save up and then cash flow it the year after to get that master's? Why is the only option to go into debt?
Because I'd like to get my CPA as soon as possible.
All right, Ben, you called a show that tells people to never borrow money. So we're going to tell you, never borrow money. All right? And then I'll answer your original question before we let you off the air, okay? So if you were my kid, and my kids are older than you, I would put my arm around you and say, you are going to work, my son, and you are going to work for someone for a little while, and you're going to save up and pay cash for this master's. And just because you want your CPA sooner, well, yeah, you want a Bentley sooner too, but you can't afford one. You don't have the money for it, so you're not getting a Bentley either. And so, or whatever car is your dream, but you can't afford it. You don't have the money. The other option is go get enough scholarships and go on scholarship and just keep going. That's fine. Either one of those is fine. But yeah, and by the way, you could go to work for someone who has a program that will pay for your master's. So I suspect the people paying you $60,000 might pay for your master's. If you went to work there if you agreed to stay there for a little while, they might pay for it. You might ask them about that as part of the sign-on program. If you want me to come, I'll be happy to take $50 if you pay for my master's, not $60. And I'll go to work full-time, and I'll work my master's in the evenings and take the job and work your master's as an adult curriculum, not as a student curriculum, and do it that way. Now, the difference in school number 1 and school number 11 isn't spit. There's 2 jobs in America that give a rip, and with 2 companies. Everybody else doesn't give a crap. As a matter of fact, if you're working in accounting and you want to come to work at Ramsey Solutions, and we have a large finance and accounting department, and you'd make a lot more than $60,000 with your master's degree and your CPA, and you wanted to move into corporate America, so to speak, we're not corporate America in the negative sense, but we're a large company, and you wanted to come to work here, we wouldn't care whether you went to the University of Texas, University of Alabama, University of Tennessee, University of Georgia. We might even hire you if you went to the University of Florida. So, I mean... but the point being that a master's in accounting is a master's in accounting. And dude, as you have already discovered, accounting is really not a flexible world. It's a world that has a set of rules, and you will follow the rules if you're doing accounting properly. That's simple. And the difference in number 1 and the number 11 is both of you follow the rules. There is no difference. Not a chance I would pay more money to go to the number 1 school. Not a chance.
All righty.
I look at it like Alabama's 45% off. There you go. There's a deal comparatively to Austin, and I don't think you have hard data that shows, hey, I'm going to make $500,000 more if I go to UT Austin as an accountant. So that's why I go just stay at Alabama, but cash flow it, work for a year. I know you want to be a CPA, and it's going to happen soon. You can work for a year and save up and pay for this.
Yeah. I'm not sure we talked you into it, but you called here and asked, so that's what you get for your answer. Bill's in Dayton, Ohio. Hey, Bill, welcome to the Ramsey Show.
Hey, Dave. Thanks for taking my call.
Sure. What's up?
Good. Well, I'm a financial peace disciple. I'm a weirdo, debt-free and mortgage-free kind of guy and a baby step millionaire.
Way to go. Way to go.
Yeah. I've got a question, though. Trying to decide whether I should lease my condo or not if I move overseas for a job.
How long are you going to be going overseas?
It's probably 3 to 5 years.
I'd sell it.
Sell it? I figured you'd say that, and I know you don't like long-distance.
You are a financial peace disciple, landlording. You're right.
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah.
So what country are you going to? What are you going to be doing?
Well, so I'm trying to get out of rural Ohio, and was putting in for jobs other places, nicer places. And finally I said, you know what, I need to pay off this condo. So they paid it off, and literally the next day I got a job offer in Germany. So
Germany? What do you do?
Yes, ma'am. I work for the Air Force.
Oh, good. Well, thank you for your service. You mean you are serving in the military in the Air Force? Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm actually retired Air Force, and I'm a civil servant for the Air Force.
Oh, okay. The way you said that, I wondered. Okay, all right. Yeah, your phrasing tipped me off.
And is it a 3 to 5 year contract?
Well, I think it's a 3-year minimum. You can extend, for a year or two.
Okay.
Sounds fun.
And I'm 55 years old, so start thinking about that final retirement place. But this would be a fun thing in the meantime, maybe.
Yeah, a little bit of an adventure, huh? Yeah.
Do they pay for your housing there, or what's the housing situation in Germany?
Well, so that's the deal. So now, part of the pay here is they give you a locality pay. And since my house is paid off, I'm pocketing that. But if I move overseas, that locality pay disappears, and they give you a housing allowance, which only matches your rent of the place that the house that you rent in Germany.
Your rent is covered in Germany.
Right. But I wouldn't be pocketing it. It would be going straight to the landlord.
Yeah, he used to pocket it now.
Yeah.
Is there a raise involved too?
No, it's pretty much a lateral move.
Okay, so given the situation with the rent payment, you're actually taking a bit of a pay cut to do this.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, still sounds fun. I'd go do it. Yeah, but I'd sell the condo. Yeah, I wouldn't keep a condo while I'm in Germany.
What would he do with the money once he sells the house? Does he park that? If it's 3 to 5 years, is it worth putting in the market?
I'm probably putting it in mutual funds. Yeah, so that so it's sitting there when I get back, and I can do something with it. And it's this market's doing really well, and 3 to 5 years, and sounds like he's probably going to be enjoying this a while.
Yeah,
sounds pretty good.
Cool story.
George Camel, good show today.
Fun times.
Well done,
Thank
James
you.
Childs, Kelly Daniels in the booth. I am Dave Ramsey, your host. We'll be back with you before you know it. In the meantime, remember, there's ultimately only one way to financial peace, and that's to walk daily with the Prince of Peace, Christ Jesus.
It's Kelly, associate producer and phone screener for The Ramsey Show. If you would like to do your debt-free screen live on the show, make sure you visit theramseyshow.com and register. We would love for you to come to Nashville and tell Dave your story.